advice and Southern tales. So
The whole reason why we got a podcast going,
mhm.
it started back a long time ago. Like, we really wanted to write a book about us growing up. We started out this whole thing by wanting to tell our stories. Child, yeah, and the first story I can remember about that, it's weird how stories come to your mind. So the first thing I remember about us is being in the Redbirds and the Bluebirds, and we would get, I don't know anything about the kindergarten except for it was good, but I remember getting saltine crackers every day and Kool-Aid, and then we'd go out and play. And that's what I remember about that. Then the next thing my mind goes to is riding in first grade with Miss Busby to the school in her Pinto, and then it skips to third grade with one of our classmates standing outside in the hall crying every day, separation anxiety, because her mama wasn't up there and she had to be out in the hall all the time. I got very few memories of every grade, but I got a fourth grade one. But go ahead.
But you
I
skipped
don't want to take all the
second.
time.
Do you not remember
Second, I
second?
don't remember. I don't remember a lot about it. I
Mr.
think so.
Cow, and she was my second grade teacher. Do you know who yours was?
I honestly can't remember much about second grade.
Now there was an older lady that taught second grade too, Miss Ellard. She was very
I
old.
think I had Miss Ellard.
I think we swapped classes though, maybe for math and reading.
Yeah.
I remember Miss Couch. She talked like this. She talked so quiet that you
Hmm.
had to like lean your ears in trying to hear what she was saying. But her class was like that too.
She must have held the respect of the class because usually she would have a hard time being heard in that age group. Let me let my
I
dog out. Go
know.
ahead.
So when I was teaching, I thought I'm going to set the tone in this classroom. So if I'm loud and yelling and getting upset, that's how the kids are going to act. So
Hmm.
I did a pretty good job. Like, not that I didn't ever get upset over anything, but I kept my cool much more
Oh
than I
yeah.
did with my own kids. It's funny how you do that.
Yeah. I've always said I could not be a school teacher.
It's hard. It really is. But when I would make a mistake, and if there's a teacher that thinks she's perfect, I want to meet her because, we all make mistakes. There's no perfect teacher.
No.
But I would just always admit it. I remember one day I was having a really bad day. I don't know what happened. I'm sure kids wouldn't wake up or I was probably late. I just didn't feel good, didn't want to be there. And as soon as I get there, especially in elementary, it's like, Miss Taggart, Miss Taggart, Miss Taggart. And I don't remember what I said or did, but I was like, you know what? I just need to start over. So I walked outside the door. I opened the door and I went, good morning, boys and girls. It's so good to see you. And they were looking at me like, is she crazy? But I just didn't want to start out on a bad note. I remember in first grade, my teacher was Miss Allen. In third grade, that was bicentennial year. Do you remember when we went up to the courthouse and buried that thing? We all put something in it, and then they said in a
Like a
hundred
time bomb.
years. Yeah, it was like a little
Really?
capsule.
There's one buried up there?
Maybe we were in
Mm-mm.
different classes,
I remember
but
going. No, I remember going up there, but I didn't really take it
yeah.
in.
Well, it's okay. I don't remember what I put in there, but I just remembered the teacher saying that they would open it in 100 years. So that would have been wait, 1976. So in 2076 is when they'll open it. Don't you remember we had those little flags behind us in the annual that year?
Dude, I wish they
Yeah,
had decided to open it like less than 100 years so we would be alive to see it.
I know, because nobody's even gonna know who
Yeah.
we were. That's
No.
one thing I've realized as I've gotten older. I've just started thinking about like making this YouTube is going to be a documentary unless YouTube ends up like Sears and just goes away. I don't think it will,
Sears
but
lasted a long time, like
well,
well beyond us,
but that's why the people at YouTube are going to have to like keep up with the times. Like who would have thought Sears would go away or J.C.
especially
Penney,
in today,
Kmart?
us in today's world to keep up because it changes fast. Fast for me.
Who would have thought though, like Amazon would like you'd be able to order something, it'd be at your door in 2 days.
No, I've ordered something from them and it was here at my door the same day.
That's happened to Will when he lived in LA. He had one of those big centers. There was those black vans just circling in and out of there.
Yeah,
And he ordered some dog food. It was there in like 30 minutes.
same thing. Yeah, in a more rural area, wouldn't be able to get stuff as fast. I remember a lot more after school, but I do remember a lot of good things while we were in school.
I'm just glad we lived through it because, whew, there were some crazy times. Do you remember going out and climbing that fire tower that time?
I sure do. We would go out there and do that for fun. We
On the
didn't have
Natchez
nothing to
Trace,
do. I don't remember where it was, but it was out in the middle of nowhere. I remember that.
and it was
We
dark
just would ride around and go do stuff like that.
because we had to find something to do. It wasn't anything to do. If we had fallen off that tower or one of those steps had broken, we'd have broke our necks.
We
We
would have
was
been
hard up
gone.
for some fun.
When me and my sister went home for Christmas, she didn't grow up over there, but she's visited enough. She was 4 when they moved here. It hadn't changed, and I said, all you have to do here is ride around. Now at least they have cell phones. We didn't have that back then. You had to go riding around to see who was uptown. We
Like,
had this path.
yes, do you remember it? What was the path?
Well, we'd start out from my house on East Madison, coming up toward the square, go around the square, turn right, go up, go around the Sonic, then go on up, see who's at the main attraction, as long as that lasted, go by, look out to the Packer Poke, see if anybody was there, and then we'd go on up and turn around at the Mugging Cone and come back over and start all over again. Sometimes we would go on Thrill Hill, you know, just to make the
Yeah,
ride back fun because you mash your gas and you'd make your car go a little bit faster. And when you went over Thrill Hill, it was
your
thrill.
stomach drop. Yeah, Thrill Hill.
And that's
I've
what
heard
we would
that.
do. When we had more time to spare on the weekend, you'd go out and ride on the rock roads.
Kilgore
Yeah.
Hills. And we had
Yep, Kilgore Hills and
bonfires.
all around on the rock roads. You just hope you don't break down. That's all we had to do, but it was so much fun. And life didn't seem to pass as fast.
I think it's because our age, and I think it is because life was slower. Like, if you had one thing you were in, that was it.
We had to wait on a phone call. You didn't have text where you could instantly get a reply. So we did a lot of waiting.
We did wait a lot.
We didn't have where you could swap
Yeah.
the calls. You remember when they swapped the calls and you could talk to two people? We thought we were something.
Wait, and I'd wait. Finally, I'd just hang up. I'd go, they can call me back if they want to talk.
Nobody knew we were going, but we'd all show up at the same place
I
just
know.
because
How'd
you
that
knew
work?
that's
Or
what you're
just
going
word
to
of
do.
mouth? Or, yeah, you just
I
knew.
guess this person calling that person and that person calling that person. Yeah, but we had to call them on the phone, and it was the rotor dial, where you had to do
It took
the
forever.
number. Yeah, they said some kids don't even know how to do that now. Put it in front of them and said call somebody, they wouldn't know how to do it.
Like when we would do prank calls, it wasn't any speaker phone way back in the day. And
Mm-mm.
then finally it got to be a little button you could push and do speaker phone. And I remember when that happened, everybody had to get pillows because the rest of us would be laughing so hard so the other person couldn't hear. But I remember the first
Yeah, and
prank
back then
call.
they didn't know. They
Yeah,
didn't know who it was calling either.
I remember this was a call that we made when we were probably in first grade. We'd call and go, "Is your refrigerator running?" And they'd go, "Yeah." The catch line, "You better go catch it. Is your
You better
refrigerator
go catch
running?"
it.
Laugh and thought that was funny. Then as we got older, our prank calls got a lot better. I think probably one of the best ones I ever did was calling the Western Sizzler and told them I lost my wallet. Do you remember that one?
Refresh my memory.
We were bored, didn't have anything to do. I was like, let's call somebody. And anyway, we called up to the
Dang, that
Western
was long
Sizzler.
distance back then.
This is when I was at Mississippi State, so you might not have been there. So we called up there and I said, yes, I said, this is Miss Lois. I said, I have misplaced my red leather wallet. I said, well, it ain't real leather. It's that got it up there at Sears. I said, it's got my Sears card and my grandbaby's picture and a little money in it. I said, I think I might have set it up on that gumball machine by the door 'cause my grandbaby was wanting a gumball. She said, let me look. So she went and looked and she said, I'm sorry, I don't see it. I said, oh, I said, you know what? I might have left it in that because I got that coin out of my little coin purse. I said, that wallet might have fallen out in that booth I was sitting at over there by the salad bar back there in the corner. I said, would you go over there and look? So she did. She went and looked. She came back. She said, ma'am, I didn't see it. I said, well, go up there and look on the salad bar because I might have set it up there when we was getting our salads. And so she went, okay, hold on. And so she said, no, it's not in there. I said, go in there and look in the bathroom on that place where you put your Kotex. I said, I might have said it there. And so she went, okay. And then she came back. She said, it's not there, ma'am. I said, oh, Lord. I said, I bet I set it up on the car. I said, will you go out there in the parking lot and see when we backed up if it fell off? She said, okay. And then I just hung up. That girl, she was so sweet.
Quit listening to you a long time ago.
If I'd remember her name, she needed to be awarded that special parking place.
She needs a lot more than that.
Don't you know they talked bad about me after that? And they didn't even know it was a prank call.
Well, it's like the funniest too. I mean, used to call the neighbors and everybody, and I mean, nobody would know who that was.
I can change my
And you
voice
know
so many
what?
ways.
That's what we always say.
Neighbor had a dog. She had 13 puppies. And she thought that they were going to make all this money selling those golden retrievers and that they were going to go to Disney World. Well, she sold about 5 or 6 of them. So I prank called her and acted like I wanted 2 of them. And she was going to give me a discount. We drove up there and I said, y'all the ones got these puppies for sale? And she went, that was you. And we all laughed. But I don't think she thought too funny. Another thing that I really remember a lot is about going to Davis Lake on Sunday. Remember everybody go there to ski.
Riding in the back of Mary Margaret's car with her hatchback open, and we'd be listening to music, and our legs would be hanging out the back of that Mazda RX-7. None of us have
Yep.
on no seatbelts, and we went, and then we'd get on that boat and ski. And I remember getting on somebody's shoulders and making like we looked like we should have been at Six Flags.
Yeah, on the ski team. Yeah, that was a night.
What it was, I remember when she got that, it was like I thought, oh my gosh, me
I was so
too.
happy for
But
her.
don't you remember we were listening to You Dropped the Bomb on Me? You know, the Gap Band. We would just blow that out of her speakers. Her speakers had to burst the first
And
year.
then our friends had that boat and he had a system put in it, like people put in their car. And then I remember this one guy bought one of those parachutes like you do down at the beach. You may have been not there that day because, see, that was dyslexic. Dyslexic.
I understood what you saying because I am that.
Yeah.
I do
Well,
that all the
anyway,
time. But anyway, what happened?
he put all those straps on. It was just a regular old timey ski boat. It wasn't like these master craft.
Did he get
He was
drug under
standing
the
up
water?
there, you know, where people would swim, where that concrete would come around the edge.
Er,
And he stood up on that concrete and started running. And we, on that trottle on that boat, we went, "Roar," and it wasn't a big old boat. And it almost,
it was
I'm
enough
laughing
throttle to
now.
pull him underwater.
Yes,
Did
it
it go
almost pulled
underwater?
his, yes, it almost pulled his arms off.
Oh,
And it is no telling what that thing cost. And it was no Amazon to send it back on. You know, it just didn't work. I think it was before I'd ever seen anybody do that at the beach.
I think I didn't go to that.
I hate you missed it.
I know,
Now,
but I
Fun
did have
times up
many good
there.
memories of that.
Did you learn to?
I could do that better than skiing on too.
Yeah,
I could
I
jump
remember skiing
waves.
on too. Did y'all have
I
a
remember
boat?
jumping waves. Yeah, it did.
Yeah, you were a good skier. I remember that. I wasn't too good with one skiing, but what's it called? Slaloming.
Golly, slalom. But honestly, Leah, we've been so good at skiing, like skiing on snow. There's a lot of people that can't even do that, and I feel like we've done good. Now, we did land with a crash at the end of our last time together. Like, you totally ran over me, but we really are good skiers.
Yeah, I hope.
We're good.
I would love to do
Yeah,
that.
me too. I got a question for you that just came to my mind.
Mhm.
You know how we have known each other since kindergarten, but there was a period in our life where we lost track, and it was in
Mhm.
between when I got married and you were still in college because I got married first. And then, of you getting married and then having babies, what in the first place ever led you to go snow skiing? The reason I went was because Ed's family had always gone snow skiing. My family never thought about going snow skiing. Like that never would have crossed nobody's mind in my family.
My family never went. So when I was in college, some friends of mine were going. Actually, it was Eddie and some people. He was out of school. I was still in school. It must have been my senior year. And we went to Snowshoe, West Virginia. And we
Your
were just
your senior
friends
year in college or high school?
in college, Snowshoe, West Virginia.
College.
And we were such rednecks. Okay. We didn't have ski clothes. We got camouflage and got what's that coat and stuff called? Scotch guard.
Scotch
We got a
guard.
yeah, we got some camouflage clothes and Scotch guarded them. And I had to borrow some. 'Cause, we didn't hunt. My daddy didn't hunt. We never had clothes
Mm-mm.
like that. But we thought they would be warm. So that's why we wore those coveralls. And yeah, we looked like the biggest bunch of rednecks. But I don't know. My
You know
instructor
why?
thought I must have looked good because he asked
Y'all
me
probably
out.
were the biggest bunch of rednecks, but that's all the more reason to be happy and proud.
Well, and so that ski instructor asked me out on a date. I went with him. And when I got back to our condo with all the friends, we pitched in, everybody. Eddie was up and he's like, "Where have you been?" And I was like, "On a
And
date."
this was before you got married?
Yeah, we weren't even dating yet. He was just flirting with
Yeah.
me. Anyway, but so I didn't go back out with that guy because he didn't like him. But that's where I learned to ski. And I
Was you went with
loved
your
it.
college senior
Friends.
people?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
friend trip.
Went every year after that.
I was nannying
So
for
I want to ask
Sharon
you,
Justin. That's how we went to Aspen. Lee flew us to
oh,
Denver, and
wow,
then we went skiing. His whole family was out there. It was fun, and I was young, so that was the second time
that's
I ever
before
got to
you
go.
went to college. I
No,
thought
that was
that was
after
before you went to
college.
college.
That was
After,
after
okay.
college. So I went then. I was going to move to Vail and be a waitress. This hotel came to Martha's Vineyard and they said, does anybody want to move to Vail? I talked this girl into quitting her job. She was going to be a cook and I was going to be a waitress at this fancy hotel. Then my daddy died. The season of the ski season was going to be November to April. So I would have missed Thanksgiving, Christmas. He had died in September. So I
Hmm.
couldn't do that to mom. That's why I moved home. But
Yeah.
then Eddie and I started going because I just loved it. I still love it. And so the last time he and I went, we went to Vail. And I kept telling him, you need to get in shape. You need to start walking. You need to get in shape because, you got to be in shape to go. It's a workout. Carry your
Yeah, you
skis and
do.
all that.
Like,
And so,
seriously, it is not the vacation to go on unless you want to. I mean, you going to get a workout.
he kept falling. He threw his skis down, went back to the room. So I skied by myself for 3 days. I thought that'd be the last time I asked him to go skiing with me. So I just started saving up points on these credit cards. I started applying for them and getting points for airline. And then I just saw this friend at Walmart one day. I'm like, hey, I'm going to take my boys skiing if you want to go, because her boys were about mine's age and we were on the same tennis team. And so, yeah, she did. So we started just a little tradition. We went for 4 or 5 years in a row. And some years we would get a free flight. That was back in the day when they would ask, does anybody want to get off this flight and we'll give you $300? Well, I'd be like, we got 5 people. And then we'd
Y'all to get
save
off
it
and spend the
to the
night.
next year. And then we'd have those
Yeah.
free snow tickets. Will said, Mom, I was in fourth grade like 3 years, because get that
Hey.
discount. I'd be like,
Yeah.
fail.
Hey, but I remember when we were talking about going skiing, and one time I said, y'all need to come out here to Montana when we're going at Christmas. And you was like, okay, I'm going to ask Eddie. And you said, I asked him. He doesn't really want to go. So, but I'm going to come after my kids leave. I'm going to come. And I said, good. And then we go out there, and then you tell me that Eddie at the last minute decided he was going to come. So you came on a flight, and then he came on a flight behind you.
Right. We didn't get to
And
fly
then
together.
y'all came out there to the resort, and don't you remember the gas on the bus
The
was making
bus.
y'all
It was a
sick?
bus. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
making y'all
And the
sick.
mountain altitude, but
Yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't die of
And then
carbon
y'all came up
monoxide or
there,
something.
and then when you got checked in, I was so happy you were there. And then
That's when he got a headache.
you came back to me and said, I gave him his medicine, and he'll be asleep, and he's gonna be fine. And he was the next day around 2 o'clock.
He sure got sick. I was glad it was him and not me, because I've had a little bit of altitude sickness where you had to get that oxygen can. Have you ever done that?
I ski with one of them in my jacket pocket, the aerosol can that I can breathe.
Yeah, it is. But I
I have
love
a
to
I
ski.
have the oxygen. I have the oxygen in my pocket and a cigarette lighter, because in case I fall off a ledge, I can light me a fire to make it through the night. That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
And a water bottle.
Yeah. I get thirsty too, because I mean it is a workout. But that time I went with Mary Margaret is when I tore my ACL and my meniscus and I had to have that knee surgery.
You skied with a brace on your leg when we skied.
Yeah, I've skied like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times since I heard it. And I had 2 hip replacement surgeries this year, but I feel like if I went tomorrow, I could do it. I wouldn't be
Well,
getting
the
on those
reason
black
why,
diamonds. I'd
no,
get on the
but
blues or the greens.
I had fallen down, and you saw this jump, and you were going to try to jump me in the air and go over me. And then that's when you fell. That's the reason why we fell together the last time.
Yeah, that's
But
why I'm not jumping
in Big
anymore.
Sky, we did good.
Learn my lesson after I have to act my age. Too old to be doing jumps.
And I had children with me, taking children skiing. One of them fell, and then I bent down to pick them up, and then they got on the ski lift safe, but I fell down, and then that guy said, lay flat on the ground. So I laid flat on the ground, and that thing mowed over me like it was a lawnmower. So if I had
Dang.
been big, it would have smushed me.
Well, dang.
Yeah. It was too late to stop the chair. The
Mm-hmm.
chair came over me, and I could
Mm-hmm.
feel it going across me. And hey, but no, I have fallen many times getting on and off a ski lift.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I do feel like today, I think I could get off the lift really good and not fall
I think I could
today.
go the entire trip without falling. I know I could,
I
because
think
I'd
you
be
could
so
too.
careful.
One of the funniest stories of us skiing is when Ed was giving us advice on how to ski, and then He skirted off in front of us, and he was like going down there looking like an Olympian,
White
doing the
nose.
S patterns, the S patterns, like,
Yeah.
okay. So we took off after him, and we saw it looked like smoke in the air, but it was snow, and he had like planted,
Wiped
and
out.
we
Yeah.
stopped, and we had to give him our handle and pull him out of that snow because he was buried in it. If we hadn't come along, he may not have gotten out. Right now, let me tell you right now, he was my husband. He was like in a trench, but I could not quit laughing. I laughed so much. I am the person that laughs when I'm not supposed to laugh. It's
Right.
a
Well,
nervous
he wasn't hurt.
habit.
He wasn't hurt,
No,
so
but
it
it
was
was
fine.
so funny.
It,
Yonderland.
remember we bought those hats in
Mm-hmm.
Montana? That was
I
fun.
know. We need to wear it next.
I hope everybody has a great day, not just a good day. And tonight's episode was brought to you by Leah Thaggart Swimming Lessons.
We didn't say before this video because I remembered, but I didn't want to interrupt. Our advice is only our opinion.
That's right.
All right. Bye.